Start.
Good morning, Ganesh.
Morning.
Let me introduce you to my colleagues here, Mukesh, Sonal, Mr. Atya, and Mr. Gaurav. Yeah. We'll start with I'll take you through the presentation of the company and give you a little gist about the key aspects of J&J. So, just about the company, it is one of the biggest multinational companies in the world, headquartered in New Jersey. Recently ranked 39 in the Fortune 500 list of companies. It has its operational presence in over 60 countries, and they have almost 275 subsidiary companies. A little bit about the sectoral performance of our company. The pharmaceutical sector is the 7th largest business in the world of J&J. It is one of the top 10 fastest growing pharmaceutical companies all over the world. Recorded sales growth in 15 consecutive quarters, and there's always been a thrust in innovation in the pharmaceutical sector. Going on towards our medical and diagnostic services, it is the largest medical and diagnostics business in the world. Operational growth of almost 6.1% in 2013. The major growth in the sales includes acquisition of Synthesis and DuPont Synthesis Joint Corporation, and it's anchored by $11 billion plus platforms. And there are further going ahead. There are new acquisitions that we've planned in this sector of the company. Also, 79% of the revenues that were generated for J&J in the year 2013 was from the pharmaceutical and medical division. So they are pretty much a very significant part of our operations. Just to introduce you now to our consumer business, which is also a growing business for us. It is the 6th largest healthcare consumer business in the world. It's recorded operation sales of almost 2.8% for the company. It's returns 75% of planned portfolios to store shelves, and new investments in cross-channel marketing has been planned in this consumer division. Now I'll pass it on to Mr. Mukesh, who will take you through the financials of our company.
Thank you, Sahil. Now I'll run you through the financial performance of the company. The J&J's revenue grew by 13% over the past 5 years, and it's on a continuous growth path. You can see this. The profits are also showing the same growth rate. And then coming to the cash balance, we ended our financial year 2013 with a cash balance of approximately $30 billion on our books. And then if we talk of the profitability position, we marked the 30th consecutive years of EPS increase in 2013, and we are one of the 6 companies of S&P 500 to have delivered 51 consecutive years of dividend increase. And then if we talk of the solvency position, we see a continuous fall in our debt equity ratio, and it's coupled with a positive working capital all throughout, and this emphasizes that we are increasing our reliance on equity. And if you see the market performance, J&J stock has delivered a stellar returns of 112% over the past 5 years, and we see that the investors are continuously recognizing the value in our stock. And these are the just snippets of the different ratios of which will give you an idea of our company: return on equity, return on capital invested, and WACC. And let me talk about the economic value added. We see if you see the financial year 2013, J&J stock has added around economic value of around $12.7 billion. And this is the performance versus our benchmark returns. We have compared it with the industry average and also the S&P 500, and you can see all throughout we have developed, means we have outperformed both the benchmark and the S&P 500. And now talking of the outlook, we see going forward, we see operational and financial performance to be improved in the immediate future, and we see we are expecting a maximum growth in medical and pharmaceutical business, and this growth is going to offset the dampening growth in our consumer segment business. And we are intending to return about $100 billion in the coming 5 years to shareholders in the form of dividends and share buybacks. And our pharmaceutical sector is expected to deliver path-breaking products, and we are expected to continue our acquisition spree. Recently, we have acquired the Synthesis company, and we are looking at companies in Middle East and Asia to grow to expand our footprint. And now let me talk about some risks and rewards. Risk versus rewards. Talking of risk, the main risk which we perceive in the immediate future are the manufacturing problems in the pharmaceutical sector. These are expected to weigh on our revenues and profits, and also the weak economic and employment environment in US, and also the austerity measures which are expected to be adopted by the governments in Europe may also affect our financial performance. And now talking of rewards, we have some path-breaking patents in line, and they will be the game changers further in the near future. And we have a specific focus on developing markets, and we expect them to be the future drivers of our growth. And strong credit ratings and cash flows means by the different rating agencies, they are expected to bring down the cost of debt. And these are the analyst ratings we given to our company. You see that S&P, Fitch, Moody's and Citi, all of them have rated AAA to our company, and we are only one of the 4 corporates to be rated higher than the sovereign government debt of US. And thank you for your patience for hearing. And now I would like to.
Yeah, so I had a few questions regarding this presentation that you made, if you don't mind. So my first question is that is the company going to adopt any significant change in any kind of accounting standards, and what could be the impact of it?
Yeah, so there are changes to the assumptions for the accruals for rebates, returns, and because we feel these are not significant parts of the financial statement. So these are the only changes that we are going to have to our existing system of accounts.
And how do you plan to use your cash in the future?
Yeah, so as you saw, we have almost 30 billion of cash reserves. So we use this for both organic and inorganic growth. As Mukesh told you during our presentation, that we recently acquired Synthesis, and we want to continue this this sort of expansion process in the pharmaceutical and medical division sector.
Yeah, and in the coming time, like in next 2-3 months, we are gonna announce our plans for investing further in the pharmaceutical sectors. We have almost 2-3 companies in our mind where we are gonna invest money.
The reason that we were holding back our cash a lot because it was a recessionary phase, as you are aware. The entire industry, all the industries were being affected during that time. So we wanted to go about it in a systematic and a steady pace, and I think we have kickstarted it with the acquisition of Synthesis, and in the near future we will be a bit aggressive than we were in the past.
Just to take off from where Adya left off, we are planning an more investment into our R&D division, so that they can come out with products which can be cured to type 2 diabetes and cancer related illnesses. So we are looking at furthering those kind of investments.
So this growth that you talk about, what are the risks associated with it, and how are you going to mitigate them?
Recently, the company weathered the issues relating to the patent expiries, and now that we are off through that phase, we don't see any issues relating to the patent expiries in the near future. And also, we agreed to the settlement of around $2.5 billion for this hip plant controversy recently, which we have faced through. Now that we came out from the controversy, and we are planning to settle the entire settlement using the cash balance on our books. So, going forward, we are expecting to see a stable business growth.
Moreover, the company is also facing pricing pressures from competitors in the market. So there is always that risk that we have. Additionally, because of the expansion plan of the company, there is always a currency risk relating to the global expansion plans of the company.
Okay. So what has been the value added to the company in the last 5 years, and what's the range of the weighted average cost of capital?
Yeah, so the EVA added, as Mukesh was saying, is almost $13 billion in the last year, and this shows our outperformance, to our investors' expectations. Also, our weighted average cost of capital in the year 2013 was 1.7%, which is significantly low in terms of the industry average. So financially, we are in a very stable position, looking at the current recessionary scenario that is plaguing the industry, and we are sure that going ahead it is only going to be positive returns for our investors.
Exactly, and adding to his point, we are our plans. We are switching to our reliance more on the equity part of it. So we, in the past 4-5 years, 3 years basically, we have almost paid our all the debts, so that the and which has actually helped us increasing the equity part of the sources to finance our assets.
And to adding on to their point, the economic value added has been consistently positive over the 5 years, and it is growing for the last 3 years.
Okay. So give me an idea of the reward versus the risk of my investment in your company.
Yeah, so just taking you back to our slides, we had noted down a couple of key pointers regarding this. So as we said, we had drawn up a list of risk versus reward. So there are manufacturing issues in the pharmaceutical sector which are likely, these issues are more, as I said, related to pricing pressures. So supplies may be, there may be issues in terms of supplies, but I'm sure we'll be able to overcome this. Secondly, there is a continued weak economic employment, environment in the US. So because of the recessionary phase, the employment doesn't look too good. So getting good skilled qualified labor may be an issue. There are also austerity measures in Europe which could affect our revenues in that region. So these are few risks, rewards.
Yeah, talking of the rewards, I would like to mention that we have made heavy investments in the R&D, especially in the research of cancer and diabetes drugs. And the patents which we recently acquired are expected to bring significant revenues in the immediate future. And also our heavy investments in the past in developing markets are expected to yield profits in the coming 3 to 4 years. And for the past 5 to 10 years, we have strong credit ratings from different analyst houses. And due to the credibility we enjoy in the market, the cost of debt is going to come down significantly.
And what is this exit clause which is imperative to my investment in your company?
So we have 3 exit clauses. One is if we, in case of an FPO, that's a follow-on public offer, you can exercise your right to sell your share in the organization over a period of 18 months. In another case, you can always sell, pass on your share or sell your share to another PE investor after 36 months of your investment. And the final one is if in case J&J is acquired by another organization, you can exercise your right to sell your promoter share.
I think that pretty much answers all my questions.
Thank you.
So we look forward for your great participation with us, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.